So we're getting there now, aren't we? We've got one in. What about the rest? How do we go about setting up something that's going to allow us to bring all our results in quickly, easily, and efficiently? Let's have a look. All right, everyone, welcome along. Weekend work, week 3. We're really getting there, aren't we now, yeah? So we've gone through this idea that we can take parkrun, this crazy cult that goes on every Saturday and Sunday around the world, right? We can do our data gathering piece. What are we going to need? What do we need to do? We can build our core ideas of a schema and the relationships that were there. And then last week we went, right, let's get started. And we built a data flow, right, that was going to pull our latest results into our Power BI workspace, right? With that in though, that's great, but I've got a load of events happening. Getting the latest one, I don't see why I couldn't do that with an Excel. I hear you, right? Let's look at the next step. What do we need to do? What's this clone and prepare to scale piece refer to? Okay, so when we're looking at this, yeah, we've gone the single route, we've got the latest results. What we need to be able to do is to convert that into weekly results. And then once we've got the weekly, we can start to piece together how that converts using parameters into something that can become a chunk. Okay, we have to use a chunk for this, right? Because of the restrictions that you get within the parkrun data servers, right? So because we're using a web scrape, they don't like it. You get chucked off if you use too much. So in practice, I've found doing this in chunks of 5 works. Okay, you might be able to get 10 out of it, but 5 it works. It's not too much of a hassle adding another 5 when you have to. It's all right to do. So let's go through and look at how we set that up. Okay, once you've got your block of 5 though, the next step is you export the JSON file, and you can then import that again, update the parameters. There's your next 5 ready. Okay, and we'll sort through what we need to do all that. So let's cut an hour into the Power BI service and have a look. So here I am, yeah, Power BI service. I'm still using this premium workspace, and that's because, I'll tell you why, because what I'm thinking of doing is when we get to the final week, let's do what it would be if we did everything in the Power BI service. So I don't want to be switching back and forth between it, but you can use this with a non-premium workspace. My live version that's running now and is supporting Jesmond Parkrun runs as a normal Power BI server in the normal Power BI service, not a premium capacity workspace. And it's then just using web sharing. There's nothing special or fancy about it. Okay. The big thing you get is that one step that I do now, I would be able to do in the service instead of it having to be done in a Power BI desktop file. So you can work it out for yourself. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? So let's go in. So we've got this latest results here. Okay, we can click on that. And then if we click find me heat, edit tables, okay, so edit the table, and we'll see the table that we built last week. Okay. And it'll go through, it'll run through the validation. It'll come back and, way high. That's a great table. You've done brilliant, champion, and all that. Okay. While that's going on though, is we actually also be able to pull in other results. Actually, what's the URL that we need? And we can see from here, from the events history page, that we've got a list of all the events. So let's start with the first event. Right? And what we're interested in is this URL here. So I'm just going to do a Control-C and copy it. Right? Right-click and copy as well, if that makes you feel better. Right? Let's scan back to a Power BI desktop here. That's a Power BI service here. Right? So I'm going to paste this into a notepad off to the side. Right. So I've got the URL I need now. Okay. That I'm going to have to build, because that's the thing. The URL we built here, if we look on here, this the source, is the latest results. That's what it says in there, isn't it? So let's go Control Do it this way, can't I, with this? Yeah. Okay, so that's latest results. We can see that. So what I need to do is to get to one that's going to be more usable for me as a consistent set of events. And what we can see from the way that URL presents in the results page is it's equals 1. So if we go to the second one, put in 2, hopefully it'll load up page 2. So we've got page 2. So it is just a case we just need to change the number for the event. Okay, and if you remember, I said, well, you can do groups of 5 of these, so this will work really well. So how about we go back to here and we say, right, for the latest results, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the advanced editor. I'm going to Control A, select everything, and copy it. Oh, sorry, you've got to Control C, haven't you here? Copy, Control C, cancel that, cancel this. Let's come out of here and let's say I want a new data flow. Okay, because we're going to have results data flows, aren't we? Okay, so we're going to create add new tables. It's going to be a blank query. Control V. We've pasted that in. Okay. Now, a couple of things I'm going to do. First off, let's keep this simple. So let's go event number equals 1. Okay. Tell you what, I'll make it text just to keep it simple. Okay. 1, comma. So we've added a line. We've added a parameter effectively into our query. Okay. Hard-coded a 1. There's different ways we could do it, but just given where you are, this is probably the simplest. You could go through, I was thinking through it, you could go through and do all sorts of other things, but this works. It's simple. It's quick. You could go through, as I say, write a function that would go in, feed it in the 5 numbers that you wanted to use, and then it would run the function against each one of those. It would go and pull the URL and right. But we'll do it this way. Keeps everything compact and easier to understand, I think, for you guys. So we've got that. We need to change the URL now. So I'm just going to go and copy the URL again out of my notepad document. Okay. Put that in here. Control V. We can see that. That makes sense. Let's take the 1 out, add an ampersand. Say I want to put an event number there. Okay. And I'm going to hit next. Okay. It's going to think about it. It's going to say I need to configure the connection, configure it. It's anonymous. This now runs. So I've got the data. It's read the data through. Okay, but I realized there's one thing that we haven't been able to do with this, looking at all the data we've got. What's missing? Okay, the biggest thing that's missing, apart from I'm noticing still some columns we could probably remove and strip out, right, but I'll leave them in for now. The big thing that's missing is a link, right, in terms of I need to be able to build up my list of people. Who's me people who we've got, right? Who are my participants? The participants list is going to get built up based on your parkrun ID. Now, every parkrunner has a unique identifier. Your parkrun ID, it's called. Right? It's like a barcode that you've got. So we have those in, but they're not available here quickly and easily. Now, this is something I've come across a few times, actually, when I've been doing web scrapes within Power BI. So it's something we'll cover it. I've covered it in the past. We'll cover it again here. We'll have a look. What do we need to do to get that out, right? So let's select the extract table from HTML, right? The second piece down. Okay, so we want to extract the table from the HTML here. What we can see is we've got a whole load of stuff there. Now the text that you need, right, I'll tell you what, let's bring this down here. Let's see if we can. We'll zoom in on this, yeah. Okay, it's this link A. So link as A, right, for each href attribute within it. A is kind of the link piece. It refers to an H reference in or a hyperlink effectively. So this is the hyperlink behind the name, is what it's saying. So each hyperlink that's in the data set, return it. Okay, that's what that does. So I'm just going to copy this. Let's take this back out of here. Right, and if we go here, where we've got a blank, I'm going to add a comma, paste that in, hit enter. Okay, and what you'll now see is on the far side, we've got link here. Okay, so now if we come right down to the end, we can see here's our link column. Right, it's just blank label as column 7. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to choose to split it. To split the column by delimiter, I want the rightmost instance of it. And the quote character is going to be, is going to be custom for this. Sorry, not quote character. The separator is going to be a backslash, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to click OK. All right, so we'll get rid of column 7.1. Right, but it'd be useful to have this, so we will reference this again in the future, but I'm going to remove it for now. Okay, 7.2 is going to be part run ID. This is the participant ID effectively, isn't it? So at some point, what we can do is we can spin this out. We can actually build a participation table based on the events. So we're almost going to go backwards through our data set, and we'll have a look at that and what that means when we go in and see, when we go back and have a look at the PowerPoint after this, right? So I've got this built now. Got me finish times, got me participants. Got a few things that I'd like to tidy up, probably like this time. We don't necessarily need the first timer or anything like that in it. We could strip stuff back and try and work out what should be there, right? Everyone's a first timer on the first event though. The last thing to do is likely going to be, for the parkrun ID, let's remove the nulls. Okay. Now, this is something that I think you have to do because you've got to build joins based on the parkrun ID. And if you've got lots of nulls, it'll work, but you'll need to have a null or something else, replace it with something. And because parkrun IDs, they're unique, you could have like a -1, replace it. Yeah, you get the picture. What would you like to do is kind of where it's up to. Right? Given the unknowns don't have a time as well, it's probably sensible just remove them. It means that your counts will appear short for each event, but you could argue, well, that's all the people who actually did take part properly. The rest who did take part weren't really there because they didn't get a time properly. Yeah. Options are available to you based on what you want to do. Remember, this is your data if you're building it. So do what works for you. So we've got this done, right? This is number 1. Okay, so I've got number 1. So how do I do number 2? So how do I do a number 2? If I duplicate this, right, and I'm just going to say, right, let's call this number 2. All I've got to do is go to my event number here and say I want this to be number 2. And it's then going to go read this as a different source. This is going to be event number 2. Okay, so I've now got the second event read through. If we go through and we say, right, now let's bring through, duplicate this. Duplicate and duplicate. Okay, we've now got 3, 4, and 5. So again, we can go back here. Oh, in the event number, this goes to 3. 4. Okay, and 5, right? So I've suddenly got events 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 pulling in data. Okay. Now, this is going to be a big help for me as we start to build it up. Okay, this becomes very much the root of what you're doing. So if we look at number 1, we can see we've got this person finished first. Look at number 2, we can see it's somebody different. So we're definitely pulling in different results. Number 3, it's a third person. Number 4, somebody different again. Number 5, hopefully it's somebody different again. Oh, no, person number 3, right? So we can see we're getting different people. So let's check, yeah, different second place person. So we've got, in a space of what, 5 minutes or so, we've pulled in the first 5, right? Now, this is why I was saying earlier on, if you've got, less than 100, this isn't too bad to do, considering all I'm really doing is copy and pasting this in, doing it. If I had more than 100, I would probably look and say, right, let's do the parameter way, set it up 1 to 5 with a parameter saying, go and do this, go do that, right? But this works. This will do it. It was proper. Okay, if I now hit save and close, it'll validate the queries. Okay, remembering I now have 5 identical queries. So I'm going to call this 1 to 5. Okay, save it. It'll validate it, refresh it. This is the important thing now. This is where Power BI is starting to be useful for us for this, because this is storing the data when it refreshes. So it's going to go away, build these 5 results tables for us and store them. Now, if we don't have to refresh these, this is stored. This is now a data table that I can reference in the future. So in the future, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 available for reference. So we've got our data in now. Not much more that we need to do, is there? What I said we'd do is let's have a look back at the PowerPoint we were going through. The key thing here is to understand that what we're going to do is start with the schema. Is if we start thinking about this in terms that participation is going to feed into our people. Yeah, because what we're going to do is we're going to say participation at the events is going to come from here, and it's then going to lead to the people that we're going to get. So we'll get a distinct list of participants that will build up to become our people dimension. Makes sense. It'll make sense. And we'll do that next week. The other piece that we're going to deal with and we need to be aware of is around actually these events, isn't it? So it's getting to the point where we understand where events are going to come from. And if you remember, I've showed you the page already. So we'll just replicate that, do a data flow around that as well. And I'll do that off camera because you've seen me build data flows from URLs before. I don't think it's one you need to see again and go, oh, how'd you do it? But it's something similar. So we'll go through, we'll build a data flow based on that events page. So the events history page that I showed you before, where we had the list of all the events. And that way, I've now got the core tables that I'm going to need. And the question mark that we'd have, and the reality is, the more I think about it, I probably won't, would be around what are we going to do about a calendar table? Do we need one? And I don't think we do, if I'm honest. I think it's not going to happen purely because of COVID, and there's been a big gap in the years. It's probably the biggest thing. The other thing is parkruns happen mostly on a Saturday. Sometimes they don't. You're allowed 1 or 2 outside the normal Saturday cycle, 2 a year. So we won't use a calendar. I think the events are going to give us a date. That's going to work really well. Looking at annual cycle stuff like that, we could do it. We could say, and it could still be one where you go, do you know what? I want it. I want to know what my time of the year is or what this is. You'd need a calendar table for that. Okay, we can still put it in. But it's all taken shape all of a sudden. And if you think from the start of today, where we were just saying, what am I doing? What do I need? Right, going through back to here, where we've got this now. And what I would need to do is export the JSON and then come back, go to a new data flow, choose to import the model, pick the JSON again. So I'll just do that. Let's do that quickly. Import it, grab the JSON. Doesn't take long for it to say, right, we're building something from here. Need to edit the credentials just because you do. See, it's given it as a clone one here. Everything's fine with it. If I come back in, click on it, give it a second, it takes a minute. Edit the tables, and this time what we'll say is, well, this is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, isn't it? So this one here is going to be 6. Remember what we need to do? Go to the first step, the event number. Click on there. It's going to be number 6. Right? This is really difficult, this. You know, as a way of doing things, this is tough. So 7. It's going to be 7. As I say, you can, when you think and you say, you go, well, for this, I could do a data flow on it, not a data flow, sorry, a function that would allow you to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and do it. But you still have to then fiddle the code at the beginning to get the list going right. It doesn't take long. It's not difficult. It's be one number to change, and it would probably be quicker. And if you were happy with this, it would be a way to go. But this isn't overly taxing, you know. And when I think through in the realities of it, it's once every 5 weeks I've got to do this kind of thing. It isn't killing me. And I guess what I will do at some point is I'll get to that. I'm doing a next generation version of it that's going to be like that. Okay. So with this way of doing things, though, there's nothing to stop me from saying, right, I'm going to... I've got my event that's got 500 runs. We're going to do it. It'll take some time, but that's not a huge deal, is it? You know, set aside a weekend. You can crack on through this, get it sorted. If you've got a friend who's got access to your workspace as well, you know, the two of you could work on it, separate computers and stuff like that. It's not, it sounds more work than it is. I've just done it while I'm talking to you. So with half of my head on, I've done one, right? It isn't challenging. Hit the refresh on it, close it. All I need to do now is make sure that we go and look at the properties for this. Let's call this as a 6 to 10, isn't it? Okay. Save. Right. And I've got that. It's refreshed. Another 5 read through. And you keep going, you build it up like that, and you'll build up your list quite quickly, quite easily. The events, again, it's like we did with the latest results. We'll pull the events in, and suddenly we've got the basics of it. So we'll build the model next week. I'll bring the events in. I'll bring all the rest of our other JSON tables in, and we'll get all of them built up. So Jesmondine partners up to 35 events this Saturday. We'll get that all in, be there, ready to go. You'll see the rest of the model, and then we'll have a model built, and then we can start talking about what we need to do beyond the base model. So what do you reckon then? The idea of being able to take a simple component and expand on it and build on it and iterate it is something that is only possible with a tool like Power Query. So the way it's built, the structures that it runs through, it's a very scripted interface. And that interface allows you then to leverage and get more out of it as a result. So in this case, we took what was probably looking like quite a stupid thing to do last week of let's look at just the latest results page and pull something out of that. We've suddenly got something that's going to iterate through week by week. And what you would look to do in practice is you would schedule the last few to refresh. So, you know, the 1 or 2 groups of 5 run a refresh. You know, and it's because you're probably only going to be updating maybe the last 2, maybe 3 weeks of parkrun events. If you've got an exceptional refresh that's required, by God, just go and refresh that group of 5. And that's another reason why you might want to keep it as a group of 5. But it's easy enough. I just go, I find the right one, I hit refresh on that one, and it'll pull the latest data down. If anything was to happen and I needed to do something, I would just schedule, or not schedule, but just go through refresh, wait a bit, refresh, wait a bit, refresh. So I don't trip over the security issues with Parkrun. I mean, hopefully they'll come up with a way of having an API soon enough so I can do it that way. But this works. It's easy. It sets up well enough and it gets going. So we'll move on to the next step next weekend or next week. But for now, I hope you're all preparing for the weekend, thinking about going to do a park run. You might get lucky and have a family of swans like we've got here. Hey, if not though, stay safe, take care of yourselves, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Ta-da.